Hey everyone, Evan Kirstel. Today I have a fantastic guest, Alwyn Joseph of FPT Americas. Alwyn, how are you?
Very good. How are you? Thanks for having me here.
Well, thanks for joining. You're an expert in all things digital transformation, a topic of great interest to everyone in tech these days. Before we jump into that, maybe introduce yourself and FPT.
Awesome. So thanks for the opportunity. Alvin Joseph, I'm the CRO and head of business at FPT Americas. So I'm responsible for the P&L and growth here at FPT Americas. We are a software solution company, a tech conglomerate, overall about $2 billion, operating in 26 countries and
Wow,
working
the
with.
the the best kept secret. I haven't heard of FPT. So a 2 billion company I've never heard of. That's impressive.
Yes, I get that a lot, especially from our prospects and customers. And when I say 90% of our delivery is out of Vietnam, that's refreshing as well. It's something that people have not heard of. But yeah,
Wow, a
the market
company,
is.
a country rather, that is a fascinating place to do business. So, wow, we have a lot to talk about. But before we jump into tell us about your background and biography and what you do on a day to day
Sure.
basis.
So I started my career with Tata. So that's my pedigree.
Everyone's heard of Tata, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I had an opportunity to expand beyond Tata Consultancy as well, as being part of TAS as well, and always been in the business roles. Have run P&Ls at Tata and now with FPT for 7+ years. Have passion, to help make a big difference at company. That's one of the reason why I moved to FPT. The FPT is as you said, is a best kept secret, but it is also very committed to nation building. Uh, you know, the things that we do, especially the first gen graduate program that we have, where we identify people who are first generation graduates, pulling them out of poverty into middle class. We have probably done that 30, 40,000 times.
Wow.
Helped so many families. I think those things are the things that energize me. And I got hooked to the company. I got hooked to the purpose, and here I am.
Yeah, and what caught my attention was your recent article around digital transformation. You've been involved personally in many of those transformations. So, give us some insights into what makes digital transformation work. And in your article, you talk about things that don't work, so mistakes. So maybe you can shed some light on things not to do as well as things to do.
Hmm. Thank you. So I think digital transformation might be a new term, but at any point of time in the human race, we've been adopting technology and transforming ourselves, finding new use, for the technology, or new way to do business, new way to interact with customers, new way to sell products, new way to make products, and make new products that nobody has ever imagined. So I think even though it's a new term, it's been throughout the history, the civilized history that we know of. And recently, it has become a buzzword in the past, 5 to 7 years, and there is a lot of investments that is going in, and a lot of companies, wanna take a new look at their technology and their business. And I think the first and foremost lesson is, I've seen both success and failures.
Mhm.
I've been part of that along with our customers. I think the first and foremost is, not to start and end with technology. We are a technology provider ourselves, but we believe in business outcome driven transformation enabled by technology. So technology is only a means, to get from point A to point B. It's not the destination. I think that's a very important aspect of it. It gives a new way to look at what you're transforming, and a new way to measure success. So you could remember 5 to 7 years ago, we've been talking about cloud, and everybody say, I want to jump into cloud, right? So why, right? What does it do for you? Does it save cost? Does it make you faster? It make you safer? What does it do for you? What's the benefit? and jumping into cloud is easy, but doing it the right way and then staying true to the benefits that we promised business is extremely important. So I think the
Yeah,
first.
that's a great point. Just to put a pin on that, I mean, there's been a tremendous move to the public cloud for obvious reasons, but a little bit of concern that maybe there's been cloud sprawl and over investing and under optimization of cloud resources. And some companies are taking a look at their cloud spend and saying, wait a minute, we need to look at this and take it from a more rational standpoint. Maybe hybrid cloud or private cloud might make more sense for cost benefit sense. So, yeah, in this time of economic uncertainty and sort of rationalization and efficiency, everyone's taking a look at what they've done and best practices. So, really great point about technology.
Thank you. So to continue on that, I think the second most important reason that we have witnessed on why transformations are successful versus a failure is our ability to involve and engage a cross-functional team. I think we live in a very complex world currently. The corporates have built into or grown into a very complex structures, and everybody, especially in large corporates, right? It's easy to become siloed and very focused on their own small organizational goals within this large organization. And when we do something that touches different organizations, different functions, I think it's very important to bring all of them together and understand if the change that we are making would actually make sense for all of them. I have a number of examples that I can talk about, but what we see consistently is technology done right, but without the engagement of cross-functional team, the adoption and use of technology is very less. I've seen at least few customers, real scenarios where we are able to take from an average of 30% adoption to 90 plus percent adoption when we
Wow.
start engaging, people who are actually impacted by that. So I think that's very important, right? So if you look at how the role of the CIO or CTO has transformed, in the last 10, 15 years, they have moved from a cost center to more a competitive advantage, right? There are very small number of clients that we talk to still believe that technology is a cost center just to have the backbone, right? Most of them believe it can create a competitive advantage, which means technology has to go beyond just basic IT and work with marketing, with sales, with risk management. This cross-functional team engagement is extremely important.
That's so great to hear. And also, the whole idea is to break down silos. And yet, a lot of organizations don't have those cross-functional teams, and the silos are just maintained. So it's sort of, how can you break those silos unless you involve, for example, sales, marketing, IT,
Mhm.
operations in an initiative? I remember it being in sales and marketing so many decades now that you often weren't at all involved in any decisions outside of your domain,
Yeah.
and you were sort of just served up. Okay, this is the technology you're going to use, the apps, the services, and yeah, a lot of missteps there. So
Yeah.
really great insight. And I think your next mistake to avoid, obviously, is not being people focused. So what do you mean by that exactly?
I think as humans, um, you could throw any technology at us like ChatGPT, large language models, generative AI, but humans will always win when it comes to intelligence. So people has the power to make a program success or failure, and I believe uh, clearly because digital transformation done at any scale, I mean, probably if it is too small a scale might not have a big impact, but if you are reinventing how a customer will buy from you or what they will buy from you, or we are moving from a 50 or 60-year old legacy systems to a modern stack, it's very important to define what's in it for me for everybody involved, especially people who are currently in the legacy world. I've seen many number of times, Many of the program will not even get started in spite of the executive sponsorship, because the people on ground, they don't have clarity of what the new world is for them, like what they're going to do after a transformation occurs. And I have seen, where go through that cycle, like in one large manufacturing company, that a strong executive sponsor from the CXO levels to modernize their legacy stack of their ERP, etc., as the backbone of the company, for multiple reasons. Obviously, it's legacy tech, so it gives them very little room to move fast, and also the people who have built the systems are getting closer to end of their career, so there is a lot of risk involved. After they retire, who's gonna run this system? Who's gonna address if there is a failure? So there is a strong sponsorship from the CXOs to move to and modernize, but they didn't include the people who are currently involved in the system and define how their job will transform after they move to the new model. I think they tried twice. We were part of those assessments, and then it'll start, stop, start, stop. I think at the third time we had a very open conversation to say, hey, unless the people who know the systems and they understand how the new world is going to look for them, what are they going to do in the new world, how are we going to help them upskill and cross skill, we will never get started with that. I think when we made that change, when we address that, it goes, it gets accelerated now, because everybody know, the new system or modernizing it or the transformation is not a threat to their own existence or job. I think it's very important. We undermine, probably we don't talk about it openly, but it's human emotion. I think we need to address that.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, taking into account emotions. And we're always told in business you're not supposed to have or show any emotions, but of course that would go counter to what humans and humanity and the reality of human beings when we work in an organization. We get emotional. The other thing you mentioned, mistake number 4, is involving customers too late in the process. Oh, that's shocking, actually involving customers in digital transformation. So what do you mean there?
uh, I think the end customer is extremely important in whole equation of building anything new or changing, what they are using today. In addition to my role at FPT, I also have opportunities to be on advisory board on various tech startups. I've seen many times where the product team gets very excited about a new idea or a new product, and stay too far from customer, and by the time they build and release it, customer has already moved on, or it is not something very useful for them. I think, again, going back to the point of technology is just a means, it's not the end. I think technology is as useful as it is useful to somebody, right?
Mm.
Defining why would somebody pay money for this, for a product or for an experience, is very important early in the cycle, and engaging them often to validate that as we make changes or as we build new features or new product sets is extremely important. I'm a big believer of blitzscaling, where it's speed over efficiency. I think move fast, fail fast, learn from it, and iterate. I think that's the model that I've seen work really well, and it's very important that the end user and end customer is part of our all decision making when we envision a new way of doing business or building a new product or reimagining a new way how we will engage with the customer.
That's fantastic. Great advice. I'd encourage people to check out the piece. Let's talk a little bit about FPT, and I mistakenly called it FTP. I'm a techie, so I think file transfer protocol. But of course, FPT is the firm, and you really are doing some interesting things. I was just checking out your website here. Walk us through the business a little bit, and the culture, and your different industries that you serve. I'd be interested, and I'm sure the audience would as well.
Sure, thanks for that opportunity. Um, we are an IT services solutions company, and as I said, we believe in business driven, business outcome driven technology transformation models. So we We provide transformation services to our customer. We provide typical IT services to our customer. But there are a few things that set us apart. Number one, obviously, we are a good geopolitical alternate. I know this outsourcing industry in the technology space is very centered around India, and India has been doing fantastic for the past 30 years. Uh, FPT, whenever customer work with us, one of the reason they quote is we are a very viable, scalable option outside of India, with about 60,000 people, give or take, within FPT Corporation. And we are super strong in some of the next gen edge technologies. I can give some simple examples. If you are driving a car, any car, Japanese made or American made, that will be a piece of code of FPT, because we are very strong in that space. We work with most of the OEMs, the tier ones, even the chip makers who make chips for the automotive. So, and if you are flying, aircraft, you're taking a flight, I think at least 50% of the time you'll be flying on something that has a piece of FPT in it. So these are
Wow.
just some common examples. But yeah, very cool. From a culture perspective, that's the best part that made me fall in love with the company. Very entrepreneurial,
Mm.
very nimble. Our speed of idea to execution is very short. So as I said, most of the executives are big blitzscaling fan, and I would say it's a 60,000 people startup, if you want to put it into context, and
I love
very
that.
people centric, very committed to.
And I'm looking at your development centers, and I'm like, I want to go on a road trip of your development locations. Are really some of the most fascinating places in the world. Obviously, Vietnam, an amazing country. Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Singapore, Czech Republic, Slovakia. I mean, these are all amazing people, destinations with amazing people and talent. So, what's next for FPT? Where are you growing? Where are you investing? And sort of what do you see as the next wave of opportunity for the company?
So our vision is to be, build a world class company in Vietnam, and lead and be a pioneer in digital transformation, partnering with our customers. So as I said, it's a conglomerate, and we have our own business, and we formulated a framework for digital transformation. Uh, you know, you could compare it with other framework, but there are some things that are different. Staying true to our entrepreneurial nature of our company, certain principles that are non-negotiable in our approach to transformation is, any transformation program should be broken down where you can measure the success within 6 months time.
Mm.
So before you spend millions of dollars and take tons of time of people, you will know which direction we have to pivot. And second most important point is the transformation team has to be a cross-functional team. If it is just a technology team, it's almost like a principle that we will go and make strong recommendations that it has to be a cross-functional team. And the last one is very important, which is the business outcome driven, right? So how do you name the transformation program is very important, because it's branding internally within an enterprise. So if you're building, say if you're building an e-commerce platform, you're a brick and mortar, then you got to you got to name it in a certain way that clearly articulates the objective. The objective is to move, say, 10% of your brick and mortar through digital, commerce, and give customer a seamless experience and a broad variety of, assortment of goods. Just for an example, right? So just saying it's an e-commerce program, we are building an e-commerce platform, versus saying I'm enabling a shift of my customers from brick and mortar to digital commerce, and I want to give them this kind of experience, and this is the business outcome I want to achieve from that. Just naming conversion goes a long way in getting people aligned to what they're trying to do. Just an example.
You make it seem so simple, and yet these are such complex engagements. But I love how you simplify things. I also love the quote on your back wall there. If folks can see it, maybe read that for us, because it really looks interesting about courage
So it
and
said,
virtue.
without courage, we cannot practice any other virtue with consistency.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Taking the
that.
first step is important. It's a scary step, but we got to take the first step.
Well, thanks for joining and sharing your vision and mission and background. Really relevant and intriguing, particularly these days with so much change and disruption globally. Your insights are really valuable. So, look forward to keeping in touch with you on LinkedIn and Twitter and all the places. And thanks to Tom Augenthaler for putting this together. And feel free to tweet at us or post on LinkedIn any questions or feedback. Until then, look forward to our next chat. Bye bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you for the
Thanks so much.
opportunity. Enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much.